Thank you, John, and thank you for the welcome. Good morning. The title above us, Crisis or Crisis of Confidence. The problem of talking about confidence is you can often talk the economy down, and be careful not to do that. But I think we do have a crisis of confidence. I want to pick up a couple of themes from Alan's presentation. I think the federal budget has been a very significant factor in current consumer sentiment, and Alan's made that point. I think the timing of the Audit Commission being released very soon before the budget, with some quite radical proposals in it, not necessarily well explained, certainly not understood, followed by a budget with a series of measures in it, which I think you can summarise by saying that the average elector consumer thinks is not fair, without the case for change being made, has made, I think, it very difficult for business in terms of consumers. So as John has said, my boards cover fast-moving consumer goods, banking, insurance and funds management, so largely in financial services. But if I think about those boards and I think about conversations I have with other directors and executives in other industries, it's hard to find too many bright spots. With the exception of the Bank of Melbourne, which is still in startup growth mode, all of my other boards are still focused on staff reduction, cost reduction. We have to be careful that we continue to ask ourselves, where's the growth coming from? How do we ensure that we as a company, we as a country get growth? But certainly most of the focus for the last year or so, ramping up a little since the budget, has been taking costs out, and that means taking people out. And I think one issue, Alan mentioned it in relation to Europe, but I think it's something that is not much mentioned here, but we should not ignore, and that is high rates of youth unemployment in this country, and in pockets of our cities. And that's something I think we all as Australians should be very conscious of, and especially in Victoria, because lots of manufacturing jobs have already been lost. There's more to come, and as the car manufacturing winds down in Victoria. But I think that will hit hard, large areas where education levels may not be as high. Staying at school till year 12 might not be as obvious a thing to do. And I think that many of those industries provided younger people in the past with an avenue to work. And the question for us, I think, as a country is, are we putting enough resources into education, and to both school education, tertiary education, TAFE and university, to ensure that our young people have the education and the skills for the modern economy. So I think that that's not necessarily an argument for more government expenditure, but I think it is an argument that we as a community need to make sure that government expenditure is on the right things. I wouldn't want to be the government at the moment facing the Senate that it's facing. That is a particular difficulty, getting measures, sensible or otherwise, through. But I think we have got not a crisis, but a crisis of confidence in parts of our economy, and certainly amongst our consumers. And John, I'd be interested in people's views when we get to the Q&A session.